What is good, YouTube? In this video, I'm going to explain to you how you can actually make it happen that you're actually good at getting new students with your school with something like ads or organic social media stuff or whatever. Because the reason your school is not successful, most likely right now, is just because you're not getting enough students. Like, sure, some students have been training with you for years already, and here and there someone like does a talk, does whatever, but you're just not getting enough students. Let's face the facts here. That's probably the reason for why you're not where you are at right now with your school. And if you are already where you want to be, then congratulations, set a new goal and achieve that. Now, the reason you're probably not getting enough students is because you don't follow up with them properly, or because you just don't know how to run ads and stuff like that. And you're one of those old-fashioned guys who's like, or woman, who's like, nah, I don't want to use this. I don't want to use social media. Like, I've had someone just yesterday telling me, yeah, like in the last 12 years since we've been open, we've never used social media. And I'm like, are you stupid? Like, there would be such a big opportunity for you to grow on there than if you would learn it. But I mean, it's fine as long as it works for them. It's obviously fine. But I'm like, okay, if you've gotten in 12 years to 100 students without social media, like, and you know social media works for other schools, etc., right? It's like if you add social media into that and like specifically, I would say running ads on like Facebook or Google, whatever. Although Google is not social media, but you get the point. Like your school would probably explode if you do it properly, right? Now, the reason I'm making this video because I just want to tell you that you're not following up with your leads properly, or not enough. And I'm gonna give you some examples here. So I've recently had someone, another school owner, from the UK who I've spoken with, and he was like, nah. So basically, I follow up with people. Like he had 40 leads generated in like 1 month, which is obviously decent for the budget he was spending, whatever. And out of those 40 leads, he told me he was able to convert like 5 or 6 into bookings, like 2 actually showed up at the school in 1 month, right? And I was like, well, why is that? Like, what's going wrong? Like, what's going on there? There's clearly like a gap there between how many leads you've got and how many you can book in. Because usually, what should happen if you have 40 leads in a month? God knows, about 20 of those should schedule at least. I would say roughly, maybe more like 30 if you're really good, but 20 would be good already, I guess. At least more than 10 or 15, something like that. That would be like the minimum, right? But like 6 or 5 is definitely not enough. Anyways, and he was like, yeah, so I don't really have time to follow up with people and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. So how do you currently follow up with people? And he was like, yeah, I sent them like one email like 2 or 3 days after they've become lead because I just don't have time for that. And I was like, what the fuck is going on there? I was like, how are you? You're lucky that even 6 people booked your class if you're doing it that way. Like, there's no way this is gonna work actually for you. It's just luck basically then, because you're relying on, because like if it's completely random, like sometimes you follow someone quickly, sometimes you don't. Like, how do you know what works and what doesn't? And clearly what he was doing didn't work. Anyways, he then came on board with us and we basically changed his appointment booking rate from like, I don't know what it was before, and maybe like less than 10% definitely. We changed that basically to something, I think we had like an 80% appointment booking rate. That's just a side story, but and we've generated like even more leads for him. I think we've generated like 80 leads in 1 month with the same budget, and had like yeah, like way better appointment booking rate, and show up rate as well, which is a different story. But and the reason for that is actually how we managed to do that. How we managed to get his appointment booking rate from like less than 10% to 80% was basically what we did. As soon as someone becomes a lead, we directly send them a text with a calendar link. At the end of the lead form, they can also directly book a class. So we're talking about Facebook and Instagram ads here. And by the way, he was before and also doing Facebook and Instagram ads, right? So anyways, and we then follow up with them for like 10 days straight, where we sent them like every second day or something like that, like a text message, just like, hey John, are you still there? Hey John, you're still interested for your child's trial class, whatever, blah blah blah, like just that classical stuff. And we also called people up to 5 times, which is also huge. But I would even argue like calling people is nice, but it's something you can do, but it's not really necessary. Like, call them once or call them twice. You don't have to go as aggressive as 5 times. This is also something we've learned personally, or like I've learned personally recently. I was like, if I call people 5 times, yeah, sure, like 1 out of 100 times is gonna happen that someone is finally gonna pick up after the 5th call. But what the data was telling me, at least, was it's more than enough if I call people twice. and then like just send them a bunch of texts, because if they're actually interested, they're anyways gonna book through the text or after the lead form already, or after the first text message. And um, even then, like, I think calling people twice should be enough for you as well. Like, but still, you want to set up like 10 different text messages, and ideally you automate this so you only have to do calls manually, which is at least how we have set it up, which is kind of cool. Now, anyway, so yeah, we kind of completely changed his numbers there, which is kind of and I don't want to make this like any salesy or something like that. This video, I just want to tell you the story, to tell you like, hey, you're not doing enough. Like, you're not following up people properly. If you're calling them once right now after like 5 days after they've become lead, and you're sending them like a text once, whatever, that's not enough. You have to basically be more aggressive with this. And some people argue here then, oh, but why would I do this? Like, I don't want to annoy people whatsoever. And like, I'm like, what the fuck? You're not annoying people. Like, they signed up for your thing. Why would you annoy them? You're basically helping me, especially in such a distracted world in which we are living right now, where it's like, they're gonna have everything on their mind other than like booking a class with you, because like they maybe saw your ads once and then they put their details in, which maybe took them like maybe they were in contact with your school for like a minute, maybe two. They also checked out your profile and scrolled through some of your posts, whatever. But that's it. Then they obviously received the text messages, but it's just, bro, you don't even know how many other text messages they received. There may be like 100 other text messages you're competing against. You don't know how messy most people's inboxes are, especially when it comes to text messages, emails obviously as well, but emails is probably worse, but different story. And you just can't expect someone to book a class if you just send them one text message or two. Because like, yeah, you're on top of their inbox once or twice, but then it's like their friend Susan is also on top of their inbox and they want to meet with them later today and they have to discuss that, and that's more important, and they have to drive the kids home from school, and then they have to also cook food, and then their husband is already coming, blah, 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 blah. There's so much going on in your life, they don't have time for you. So you're actually doing them a favor by following up with them soft, because they probably wanna make a change in their lives, or wanna make a change in their kids' lives, but they're just too lazy to actually make it. Not even lazy, you can't really blame them for it. Obviously you can, because everyone should take self-responsibility, blah 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 blah. But if you take self-responsibility here for yourself, and then you're like, man, I need to follow up with these people more because I have a duty to change their life through my martial arts school, because I know my classes are so great, and this is why I want to follow up with them so often, because I do actually want to get them to come into our class, etc. Because I know I'm going to change their lives. And at the end of the day, then comes really down to product again, because if your martial arts classes are shitty and you don't believe that they're great, that they're actually not great, then you won't have the motivation to follow up with them that heavily. But yeah, like, just do more and you won't annoy people with that. Anyways, if you want more students for your school, check out the first link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.